1.5 billion people tuned in for the last World Cup final. That's not just a sport, that's a global obsession. But what if I told you that beneath the surface, beyond the 90 minutes on the pitch, there's a much, much bigger game being played? A game of money, of power, and of influence. And to really get it, we have to start with a bit of a puzzle. So let's start with a real head-scratcher. For 15 straight years, a massive state-owned Russian gas company poured millions and millions of dollars into a pretty average German football club. Seems kind of random, doesn't it? Just another sponsorship deal? Well, as you're about to see, it's way more complicated than that. Okay, so here's where the pieces start to click into place. It's all about timing and location. See, the club, Schalke 04, is right in the middle of Germany's industrial heartland, a place that needs a ton of cheap energy. And what do you know, right as Gazprom's sponsorship money starts flowing, so does construction on the Nord Stream pipeline, a project designed to deliver Russian gas straight to that exact region. This was never just about getting a logo on a shirt. This was a calculated move to win friends and gain political leverage. And that example right there gets to the absolute core of what we're talking about today. For huge corporations and even entire countries, football has become one of the best tools out there for getting that they want on the world stage. The real goal isn't just lifting a trophy, it's winning over the hearts and minds of millions of people. So you're probably thinking, okay, this is all just a massive business, right? And, well, yes and no. The way money works in football is actually a lot stranger than you might think. Let's dive in. Let's take a team like Real Madrid, maybe the most popular club on the planet. Their annual revenue? A jaw-dropping $900 million. I mean, with a number like that, you'd think they were an unstoppable money-printing machine. But here's where we need some perspective. On a global scale, that massive $900 million is about the same as a food producer in Kuwait or a budget airline in India. Even Manchester United, the most profitable club in the world, barely cracks the top 4,000 public companies. So this is the thing to remember. It's not just about the money. And this is where it gets really weird. Some of the most famous, glamorous clubs, I'm talking Paris Saint-Germain, FC Barcelona, have regularly lost staggering amounts of money. I mean, if this was any other business, they'd be seen as total failures. So what are they actually investing in?
The answer is that the billions being poured into these clubs aren't just buying players or fancy stadiums. No, it's an investment in something you can't put on a balance sheet, something way more valuable than profit. The fierce, passionate, and totally unwavering loyalty of hundreds of millions of fans all across the globe.
But where in the world did that incredible, almost religious loyalty come from? To get that, we have to rewind the clock all the way back to the smoke and steel of the Industrial Revolution. Look, people have been kicking a ball around forever. We're talking ancient Chinese warriors, medieval Italians, and a game that was basically a street brawl. But the game we know, with rules and leagues and stadiums, that was born in a very specific place and time, 19th century industrial England. And just look at where the world's most legendary clubs came from. They weren't born in shiny capital cities. No, they came out of the gritty, hard-working industrial hubs of Europe. AC Milan, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, both Manchester clubs, they all grew out of factory towns and sprawling port cities. Just try to imagine it. You've left your small village to find work in a huge, crowded, anonymous city. You're disconnected. You don't know anyone. But then there's the local football club. Suddenly, you have an identity. You have a tribe. You have something to root for, something to argue about, something to bond over with the people you work with every day. That connection, forged over 100 years ago, is so powerful it's been passed down from one generation to the next. Okay, so fast forward to today, and that same passion that started in the factories has exploded across the entire planet. The game has become a kind of mirror, reflecting our amazing, connected, and often unequal world. This chart tells you something so important about what makes football special. To be the absolute best in the world at tennis or basketball, you pretty much have to come from one of a handful of rich countries. But football? It's different. The winners of the Ballon d'Or, the award for the best player on earth, have come from 20 different nations. It's the most democratic sport we have. And there's no better example of the hope this game offers than the story of George Weah. This is a man who grew up in the slums of Liberia. Through nothing but pure talent, he made it to Europe, became the best player in the entire world with AC Milan, and then, when he was done, he went home and was elected president of his country. I mean, that's the unbelievable power of football right there. And it's that sense of hope, that feeling that anything can happen, That keeps us all hooked. I mean, come on, who could forget Denmark in '92? A team that didn't even qualify. They got called up at the last minute and went on to win the whole thing. Or Greece in 2004, the ultimate long shot, shocking an entire continent. That unpredictability, that's the magic of the game. So let's put all the pieces together. You take that deep, historical loyalty forged in factories, you add its incredible global reach, and you mix in that raw emotional power, and what you get is the perfect stage for a completely different kind of fight, the battle for hearts and minds. You know, the former coach of the Russian national team, Leonid Slutsky, he absolutely nailed it. He said a football team is basically a supercharged model for any group of people trying to do something together. It's got all the same dynamics as a business or a political party. It's just that in football, everything is cranked up to 11, full of emotion and bright colors for the whole world to see. And believe me, the powerful players of the world have figured out this game. It's like they have a playbook. You've got state airlines like Emirates plastering their names everywhere for global recognition. Their passenger numbers grew by 10 times. You have whole countries like Saudi Arabia using it for sports washing, buying up famous clubs and hosting the World Cup to boost their image. And like we saw with Gazprom, you have state companies using it for cold, hard political and economic advantage. So why do we, the fans, get so invested? Why do we care so much? Well, at the end of the day, it's because cheering for a team lets us feel like we're part of something bigger than ourselves, something strong, something victorious. When our team wins, it feels like we win. And that feeling, that can be a hard thing to come by in our everyday lives. So the next time you sit down to watch a match, try to look beyond the ball for a second. Look at the names on the shirts. Think about who owns the team. And ask yourself, am I just watching a game? Or am I watching a 90-minute drama that's a perfect reflection of the biggest power struggles happening all over the world? Something to think about.